you miss signatures on documents that aren't notarized, if you forgot to collect the escrow, closing funds check, or, you missed the drop off, and now the insured missed a rate lock, or docs were sent, but they didn't arrive where they're supposed to. So that kind of error is signing agent E&O. And one of the insurers that offers that coverage is ER Monroe. And they offer a $500,000 limit or $1 million limit. They don't offer anything less, than $500,000, per claim, or per occurrence rather, and that is on an annual basis. And the pricing is based on where you're located, meaning what state you're located in and what your underwriting or what your state rules are with regard to that coverage. Some other coverages that you may want to consider that isn't always talked about, us notaries, particularly if you're in business full time. If you're in business part time like myself, some of these coverages I may not get. But if you're in business full time, or even if you're part time and you're just overly cautious, these are some other coverages to consider. One is general liability. So general liability pays for accidents that you cause to third parties as a result of your negligence. And it's an accident. So for instance, you're at the signing appointment, and you set your bag down. You pull out all your stuff to do the signing, and you set your notary bag down. And say the signer trips over your bag and breaks their leg. That's general liability. That's not E&O. So general liability insurance would respond to something like that. Or if you're had a situation with another friend who does work at other people's places. She's a mobile nurse actually, but she does mobile work, and she accidentally knocked over her patient's TV. So the patient wanted her to pay for the TV. So stuff like that is what general liability takes care of. It's damages to third parties. It doesn't cover your equipment. It doesn't cover your injuries. It covers injuries to third parties. So that's another coverage to consider. This coverage here, specifically if you're working full time and you don't have a job that has benefits and that sort of thing, is disability insurance for you as a self-employed person. So say, for instance, something happens, you get in a car wreck and, you're laid up for, 4 months recovering from your injuries. During that time, you're not being paid unless, of course, you have to, like coaching service, stuff like that, you can get paid eventually, or you have a signing service. But if you're just strictly doing the mobile notary work and that is your entire income, while you're laid up for that 4 months recovering from your traffic accident, you're not receiving income. So disability insurance can help with that loss of income, whether it's state generated or what they call long-term disability, depending on your state. Most states only offer state disability for short periods of time, like 6 to 8 weeks. And then after that, you're considered long-term disability, and you would have to purchase that coverage somewhere else. So this isn't like Aflac. This is like straight disability insurance. You're off work. You're not receiving income. So this replaces some of your income. It's usually not maximum. It can be anywhere from 60 to 80% of your income. It's not going to pay 100%. And oftentimes it's state limited. So say your state only offers up to $2,000 a week versus say another state may only offer up to $1,000 a week. So you'll only get the state minimum. But there's some income that you would receive that you otherwise wouldn't if you're laid up for a long time. Another is your auto insurance. So most of us have personal auto insurance. Not most of us, all of us have personal auto insurance. But if you look at your policy, oftentimes, work-related driving isn't included. Now, just going back and forth to work, meaning, like if you have a job or if you go back and forth, to a conference or something like that, that's different. But if you, dropping docks, if you go to a notary appointment, if you go to FedEx, you get in an accident, you're at fault, meaning you caused the accident. your auto insurance may not pay for that accident. So something to consider is not necessarily commercial insurance, but to expand your personal auto policy to cover work-related driving. It could be kind of costly depending on where you're located. It could be, cost you a pretty penny. If you get commercial insurance, it's definitely going to be a lot more expensive than just basic personal auto insurance with the enhancements for work-related activity. But it's something definitely to check out for yourself to see if it fits within your budget or how much work are you doing. I mean, if you're only making, a few $1,000s, a year or $25,000 or less a year, that may not be something you want to do, but certainly, something for you to be aware of. And then finally is equipment insurance. So like your scanners, your, your printers, all that stuff, that's handled separately. Now your homeowner's policy may not pick that up because it's work-related equipment unless you're using this equipment personally as well. But that's, that can be determined at the time of loss, meaning that, if your house burns down, all your equipment's gone, your homeowner's paid for the rebuild of your house and your contents, the personal contents like your furniture and your clothes and that sort of thing, but it may not pay for, that super duper, printer that you have, particularly if you're working full time and this is your primary job. So just off the top, those are some of the coverages that I can think of. Another program that you can get is what they call a business owner's policy. And again, I'm gonna set my phone down. Again, for those of you guys that a business owner's policy and pick up stuff like your auto and your liability all together, and disability, and you can do all these things individually. Usually, if you go call a business owner's policy, it's usually less expensive and it goes in a lot of coverage that you necessarily get on an individual. But E&O is always going to be separate, and disability is always going to be. You're not going to be able to combine that with other coverages. So that's just it. Something for you guys to consider. I know that that was a good view. If you have specific questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm on the chat. And also, if you have any questions now, of course, you can address.
All right. Gail, I'm not sure if you were able to introduce yourself to the audience. Like a few of us know who you are, but others that don't. Just introduce yourself, let them know who you are and what you do for your career.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to do three things at once. So
it's okay.
First, it's so easy to do that at the top of the conversation. So my name is Gail Gentry. I'm a mobile notary based in the Baltimore, Maryland. I've been a notary for I think I'm 17 or 18 years. I started as a notary in California, and then I moved here to Maryland about 2.5 years ago. So I've been a notary here since I arrived in Maryland as well. I'm also, my day job is I'm an insurance underwriter, which I've been in insurance is live entertainment, but insurance is insurance. Everything that's in business has some level of liability when you go into other people's businesses or you go to other people's homes. All people come into your place. So on the liability insurance, another thing to consider is, the FedEx guy packages off to you like you're whatever, and they trip and fall on your steps, and they, for whatever reason, trip and fall, or you needed to fix those steps and you just haven't got around to it, and they trip and they themselves. They could sue you for that. All of either your homeowner's policy, if it's business related, your general liability policy.
Okay.
So that's another thing to consider. Again, these coverages, I wouldn't say they're hugely expensive. They're not hugely cheap. So certainly to determine, for your business model, what is for you. At minimum, you would get E&O insurance
Gail, your voice, your connection is very spotty, so it's breaking up.
Hello?
Okay, your
Can you hear
connection.
me?
Yes, we can hear it, but it's been spotty.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
I tell you, technology so sucks. Anyway, so did somebody miss something that they wanted to ask a question about specifically? I saw
Yes,
somebody's note that
yeah,
coming in and out.
I have a question for you, Gail. So,
Sure.
what's your business? What's your recommendation for, let's say, as notaries, we're small business owners, independent contractors. Do, and I've come across notaries that didn't have personal liability insurance or professional insurance. What's your recommendation outside of the E&O, errors and omission insurance, particularly in some
Mhm.
states, like in Connecticut, it's not required. In Pennsylvania, it is. In New Jersey, it's not. What's your recommendation for notaries' best practice
So you're saying for E&O insurance?
for E&O and business insurance?
Right. So E&O, I carry a $500,000 limit. And the reason I do is because it's not one, is because it's the minimum limit that ER Monroe will offer. And also because $1 million, you can carry it. It's not much difference in premium. It's like $100 annually. But do I really need a million? When I was living in California, $1 million made sense because, most people's homes was valued at over, $800,000. Not necessarily here in Maryland. So it depends on, what property values are, particularly when you're talking about somebody messes up a rate lock on a refi. So the rate lock, say, is 6% or whatever. And, because you didn't get the package dropped in time, they missed their rate lock. And so now the rate went up to 6.5%. I mean, how much does that, add up financially? So I would suggest minimally on the E&O 500,000, particularly with the signing service, um, signing agent extension of coverages. And again, depending on where you're living, if you're living in Connecticut, those homes are highly valued as well. So maybe, you want to go with the million. And I'm sorry, I can't read your notes. What did that person say?
So there's a question in the chat about um, where do
I
you?
can say it, Teresa,
Oh, go
if it
ahead. Who
helps.
is that?
Was it mine or was I
Oh,
skipping ahead of
Gabriel. Yes,
somebody?
Gabriel. You go, Gabriel. Yes.
Okay. Hi, Gail. I was wondering about the $1 million policy that you just mentioned. Because you said it was
It's
like
not
$100.
$100. It's $100 difference.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So the $500,000 policy was like $450. To
Okay.
go for the million, it was like $550. So it's not
Right. And
$100.
that's why
No,
I was chiming in. I was like, wait, am I looking in the wrong place? Because that's not
no,
how much I was quoted. Okay, cool. Thank you.
So for
no,
which,
no, no. That's the difference in
like,
premium.
like Shantae, you're a notary public in Pennsylvania, right? For you to get your commission, what was the minimum of the E&O you had to get? I think it was. I think it's $10. It's not $10. Whoo, 10,000.
10,000.
10,000.
10,000 is the minimum, yes.
You're talking about a bond.
No, 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 not the
You're
bond.
talking about a notary bond. You're not talking about E&O.
We have to get the bond and we have to get
You
E&O
have to do a
in
bond and
Pennsylvania.
E&O insurance. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm
And
sorry.
and think if you
I'm sorry. Say again.
the E&O is 10,000, and with the not sorry, the bond is 10,000. The E&O is a minimum of 10,000. You can have more, but the minimum to get your commission is 10,000. Am I correct, Shantae?
That is correct.
Okay. So that's for Pennsylvania. In Connecticut, there was no requirement when I got my commission here in Connecticut. So
Well, I don't think most states require E&O insurance. I mean, that's unusual that they're requiring you to carry E&O in Pennsylvania. Most states, in California, we weren't required to carry E&O. We were required to carry a bond. Here in Maryland, they don't require a bond at all or E&O.
so
So it
yes,
depends on your state.
Correct. And Pennsylvania does require that, the bond and the insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was commissioned in Pennsylvania, I think I had my E&O up to, I'm not sure if it was 25 or 30. I don't remember, but we did require to have both in Pennsylvania.
Okay. And that's another thing, please be cognizant of your state's requirements. And then there's one question in here. I'm not sure I'm understanding correctly. It says here, this is from GL, from Greg. It says, compared to loan signing insurance, wouldn't that be exactly the same as if I notarized for an apostille dropped off at UPS instead of FedEx and it gets lost? So the dropping off at the FedEx is the part that's not covered under regular E&O
right.
insurance.
So my question is, so basically where I'm coming from with this question is there really such thing as a is there like a specific loan signing agent insurance, or is it just things other
Yes.
than notarial acts?
There is?
Yeah.
So like it's specific to loan signing and only to that one
Yes.
company you're saying. So like this, what the act that I'm describing is like a negligent act that this person, because at the point you walk away from the signing, you're not a notary anymore. At that point, you're a virtual assistant, whatever you want to call it, and you make a reckless act of dropping it off at the wrong place, that item gets lost, right? And I'm just kind of trying to compare it. Isn't that kind of the same as this? I don't know if there's insurance that would cover that, right? It's I don't know. I'm just
That's what
trying
I'm
to understand.
saying. That's what I'm saying. So you want the signing agent service. Because the signing agent service, and I use that term, generally because you mentioned the apostille. So a signing agent service. So if you go and do a notarial act, say you're, do a loan package, or in your case, you're doing an apostille, say you do a POA that's supposed to go to the Philippines, you go notarize the document, and then you turn around and, you missed the drop off at FedEx, and now you got to restart all over again with your apostille. The drop off at FedEx would not be covered under your basic notary coverage. That would be a negligent act under your signing agent / apostille service. So, it could be covered there. So let me just specify, nothing is absolute. Each claim is looked at on its own merits and what happened and the facts of the situation. So nothing is absolute. I'm just giving you some examples because oftentimes people get their notary insurance, let's say, and no scrub on the NNA, but say they get it through the NNA or they go with Byberg or one of those, and they get the notary E&O insurance, but it is only covering the notarial act. It's not covering the dropping off, the miss picking up a check. You got a loan package and it has a document in there that you didn't get signed that isn't notarized, but it causes the loan to be delayed. That's not going to be covered with regular E&O insurance.
Right. So I know for a fact the NNA insurance, the so-called, there is no NNA insurance. NNA is simply an agent for merchants.
Right,
But
exactly. I mean, I'm using that term generically.
yeah,
So
yeah, to
we don't have to
100%.
bog down in
Right.
specifics and all
Right.
technical and stuff
Right.
like
But
that.
I'm
That's
just trying to
just
clear
where
up.
people go to get it.
I'm just trying to clear up, right? That's what they go through to get it. But I'm just trying to clear up the type of insurance, the so-called loan signing agent. As I understand it, the insurance, the generic insurance, it would be the same coverage, though, right? It would be the same. It would be the non-notarial acts, the negligent, or whatever you want to call it, negligent, whatever word. It would be a mess up potentially that would cover you in your role in the non-notarial acts, is what I'm understanding, though.
Yeah, that's correct.
Thank you
Right.
so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Because during your notarial activity, and I'm using this with a signing service or signing agent, you're explaining the docs, not extensively, but you're just giving a brief explanation. You're making sure they sign every document in there, whether they're notarized or not. You're oftentimes picking up funds. You're required to drop the documents off. You're required to scan them more times than not. You're required to bring a witness. Sometimes, all these different things that are beyond you acting as a notary.
Yeah, thanks very much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure, absolutely. All right. Any other questions?
I have a question, Gail. Do you have any information about cyber insurance? Because remote.
Yeah, I forgot about cyber insurance. Thank you for bringing that up. So yes, you can purchase cyber insurance. That could be a little pricey. they usually start at about $2,500 a year. And cyber insurance has to do with, you being hacked and somebody's personal information is taken from your system. The thing that they'll require with cyber insurance is obviously to have a good, firewall and have, possibly a VPN on your system so stuff isn't taken. If you notice with a lot of the signing services, and not necessarily with title, but some of the signing services, one of the things they'll ask you is, do you have, proper controls on your system so stuff isn't, people's what they call PI, what is it? Personal information isn't taken. And the personal information is stuff that's not public. So, usually a person's social security number is not public. Their date of birth is not public. Us as notaries, our addresses are often public. But most people, that could be yes or no, but something that is specific to them that somebody could steal, and then use to get credit cards, loans. I mean, in the real estate business, you wouldn't believe how many people are scammed by having other scammers, get loans on their property, get purchase property in their name, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, you can get the cyber, but and again, that's a different coverage as well. Sometimes with the BOP policy or the GL policy or the general liability policy, they may offer you some basic coverage, but if you, are doing significant business and you have, a large operation, you may want to go beyond, the basic $25,000 limit situation. And usually what that pays for is, like, and you guys have seen it, where like, say, American Express gets hacked and you get this email saying, hey, we've been notified that you've been hacked, that we've been hacked, cards ending in 301 or whatever, or starting with 4865 or whatever. And, you may have been affected. So they have to you have to notify people if your system has been hacked and their information may have been compromised. So that's one of the things that they take care of for you. They don't necessarily pay if some person's information is taken and then now some act has been committed against them. It takes care of the stuff like notification, because that could be quite costly. One, to scan your system to see, okay, how many people were affected. Somebody like American Express, that's going to be expensive because they have thousands and thousands, millions of customers. Us, we may not obviously have that level of customer, but somebody that's really like been in business for a long time, that could be anybody, in your system. Somebody you stopped doing business with, 10 years ago, but they're still in your system. Their information is still in your system. So it does, pay for that kind of stuff. And usually, like I say, the cyber insurance, again, say like if you go to Byberg for your general liability, I believe they do have an option for the cyber. You may, if you're doing signing services or stuff other than just traditional, G&W work, and that's all you're doing is notary, you may want to try to get, something a little broader, like the signing agent coverage that's with E.R. Moreau. Another thing, when you fill out the application, like for the gentleman that was asking about the apostille, on that apostille thing, you would make that known on your application. So I may pay $450. I'm just giving an example for just straight, signing service. I'm not doing apostilles, but you're doing apostilles. Sometimes when you do the apostille service, you're not even notarizing. They already have notarized documents, particularly if you're doing like a birth certificate or a marriage certificate or something like that. You're not even doing a notarial act at all. You're just, facilitating getting the documents together. So when you fill out that E&O application, you need to indicate that to make sure, that activity is picked up. And if it's not clear, that's a question for you to ask. Is those types of services covered for, errors and omissions, as they call it? That's what E&O stands for. You make an error, or you admit to do something, or you omit something. Any other questions? Hello, can you guys hear me? Hello?
I'm sorry, I can hear you. I was speaking at the mute on. So I have a question. What's the recommendation for, I am interested in getting a group policy for a notary today. Do you have any recommendations or best practice for that? It's
A
just going to
group
be
policy, what do
a
you mean a group?
life policy, term life insurance. A,
Oh, for yourself?
a
That
group,
I'm not skilled in
a
life
group policy.
insurance. I'm
Okay.
property and casualty.
Okay. All right then. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, and really just off the surface, I'm not, that's not my area of expertise, but just off the top, basically you want limits that are equal to your assets, and then people that are, depending on you, financially. So if you have like children, say small children, and you die today and they're like 10 years old, they're going to need, you got to consider their annual expenses for the next 8 years, technically. So if their annual expenses, are $50,000, 50,000 times eight, is $400,000. You know what I mean? So it's there. But I would suggest, talking with a life agent.
Okay.
And I know sometimes you don't want to do that because it's like, damn, I don't want to get on this person's email list and now they're hounding me, and all this stuff, which I can fully appreciate. But is you can, you want to talk to somebody. If you don't have a financial advisor, talk to somebody to kind of help you determine, what minimal limit you want to protect yourself for, because the life insurance, of course, is for your survivors. It's not for you. You're not going to benefit from
No, no,
that
no.
in
It's not. It's not. It's more like for a perk of membership. So it will be cut off at just 10,000 for per member. But I
Are
have
you talking about for Notary Today?
yes, yeah.
You might want to start like 50,000. Like at work, we have they give us like up to 50,000, which is real basic. And then we can buy up to 1 million if we want individually and pay for that ourselves if we want.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but you can. I have a. If you want, Teresa, and I can give it to you later. I
Yeah.
have a life agent that may be able to help you with a group plan,
Okay. I would like that.
for the organization, and then
Yes.
if they want to get individual plans or up their limits, they could talk with him to enhance it. That's the word I'm looking for.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Hey,
You're
Gabriel.
welcome.
Gabriel, you have a question? Go ahead.
Had a bunch of issues. Okay. Um, my question is if I am I able to get right now I carry E&O personally, and I have a couple other notaries on my team that carry their own personal E&O. Is it always personal? Can my business carry can I carry it as my business and cover my notaries also?
Yes, it is. It's business insurance. It's not individual. So it's business insurance. You're acting outside of your business. So, like for instance, my day job, I'm an insurance agent, right? So I'm an insurance underwriter. So our company carries E&O, and it picks up all of the people that work, all the employees. So you can expand it if you want to include that. Because if you go to like say E.R. Moreau and you fill out their application, it'll ask you how many agents do you have, or how many notaries on your team, because it is business insurance. And then you would pay, additional coverage. Now, as a thing for you, if you have agents like a signing service or quasi signing service situation, you may want to carry it for them to protect you, but then they need to get their own coverage to
To
protect
protect them.
them. You know
Gotcha.
what I mean? So if they, if you hired, Joe, John Doe to do a job, say, and I'm not that familiar with Pennsylvania, say Pittsburgh, and you're in, Philadelphia, that's a bit of a way. So, hey, I got John in Pittsburgh that can handle this. John screws up the job, for whatever reason. He's normally very efficient, does a great job, but this time he really screwed up. And now not only is John being sued, but then they're suing you. So your E&O insurance would cover you and your agents in relation to you. So you're being sued because John screwed up. May not necessarily cover John. John needs to get his own insurance.
Gabriel, what state are you in, Gabriel?
Um,
Gabby?
I'm in Missouri.
Okay, you
Oh, okay.
it's
So say St. Louis. So you're in St. Louis. but somebody, two counties over, you're helping them, or, hey, you're really balling out of control. And you got agents in California, you got agents in New York, you got agents, what I mean? You got all these people that you're working with. Again, your coverage would cover you and people acting on your behalf. You can expand it to do that, but as far as them being sued, your coverage isn't really, and for obvious reasons. I mean, why would you want to cover their acts, right? You need to get your own coverage, but for you to be protected for what they do as an agent of yours, that's one of the questions that they ask you when you fill out that online application. How many agents do you have, besides yourself? How many locations? They ask you all that stuff.
Okay. Thank you so much for letting me know that. There was also somebody posted in the chat if you can share your contact information for anybody to contact you with his questions.
Gabby, in Missouri, is having E&O a requirement for
Requirement? No.
commission? No, it's not. Okay.
No, it's not a requirement. It's recommended, and it came with one of my policies, like a $10,000 policy came with the thing I bought my bond
Okay.
from. But then I have the 100,000 because it's recommended or required for NSA.
Okay.
Now, for you, if you have people working for you, I wouldn't carry less than 500,000 because Joe screwed up today, Susie screwed up the next day, Elaine screwed up, 2 days before. You know what I mean? And those are three separate claims, and you can be responsible for all of them.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Gail,
Truly.
another thing that is of its observation also is auto insurance for mobile
Yeah.
homes. Best practice is to include adding that to your personal auto insurance, or do you want to have a business auto insurance? What's the difference?
So business auto insurance can be quite pricey. It could be upwards, you could be starting at, like $2,500 or better. So auto insurance in the insurance industry is considered a loss leader, which means that usually if you're going to have a loss, it's usually in the auto area. So you can check with your insurer, and I would just be kind of, not like, oh yeah, well, I'm a mobile notary and I do, I do 10 jobs a week and I'm driving an extra, 20,000 miles a year. And I want to know how much this is going to be to have business use on my policy. So if you go in it like that and they say, okay, that's going to be an additional $5,000 a year. And you're like, oh, no, I don't want to pay that much money, kind of a situation. Now that they're aware that you're doing that, they may tack it on anyway, because now they're aware that you have this increased exposure. Or they'll make it very clear to you, look, if you're, on your way to FedEx from a job and you get in an fault accident, we're not going to cover that at all. And they may have a specific exclusion, usually within a general, and this, each carrier is different, but just generally speaking, oftentimes personal auto policies don't cover business use. And business use is not you going back and forth to work, like to your office or whatever, or going to a conference that your company sent you to, something like that. But you going from notary job to notary job, and then you're dropping off docs, you're going back to the escrow office, you're going to pick up supplies at Staples, that kind of stuff. That could be considered business use. So, sometimes you can enhance your personal auto policy, depending on who you're insured with, to include what they call business use. These days, particularly if you're in the service industry, most people have some level of business use of their auto policy, of their auto, their automobile. If you're in the service industry, whether you're working for an employer, you have your own business or whatever. And then if you're not able to do that, then you can get a business auto policy and cover your car. Again, it could be kind of pricey. That's something to consider, on the BOP program, which is a business owner's business owner's policy, also known as a BOP, that you can cover your vehicle with your general liability, et cetera. And then for the lady in Missouri, you know, you have people working for you. I don't know if you have an independent contractor agreement that you have set up with them, because another thing to consider is workers' comp coverage. So if you have people working for you, you know, directly as employees, now you have workers' comp exposure for their at-work injuries and diseases that they may contract.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I saw someone posted it. Who is this? Adonica. How are you, Adonica? Where are you located? Can you come and introduce yourself? Let us know who you are, where you're joining us from, and what is it that you do? Where is Adonica?
Hi there.
Hey, there you are.
I'm actually driving to an appointment. So my name is Adonica Banks, and I am a licensed insurance agent as well for the different lines that I spoke about in my chat.
Okay,
So and I'm in St. Charles, Missouri. So Missouri.
Missouri. Okay, awesome.
But I can assist with, because I have licenses in several states, so I can assist with several different states.
Okay, welcome. Well, let me see if you said you have life also.
Yes.
You do? Okay, then let's talk then about life insurance.
Yeah. She may be able to help you with that group plan for your
Yeah.
organization.
So
Yes.
I'm interested in getting a group plan as part of a perk. So not much, maybe about $10,000, 10 to 25,000 per member. So if you can, let's talk about that, and we'll see how we can make that happen.
Absolutely. I'd be more than happy to assist with that.
Okay, I'm going to put my email and number here in the chat for you.
Sounds
I
good.
put my name and phone number in there too.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, I'm an insurance underwriter, but I do P&C. I don't do life.
Okay. Awesome. Do we have any more questions for either of these two insurance ladies? Do you practice in Pennsylvania, Adonica?
Not in PA, but it's pretty easy to get it if you're in another state that I don't have or someone on my team has. So
Oh, okay. I
okay.
I often recommend if you're not a member of PAN, if for Pennsylvania notaries, I often recommend ER Monroe for the notaries you know. Okay.
Right. Yeah, Monroe for signing agents, they expand their coverage to include signing services.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
That's what I was saying. E.R. Monroe. Yeah, their E&O policy is beyond just straight notary. It also covers your you know, your errors and omissions. Like I say, you failed to drop off the docs in time. You lost the closing doc chat or closing chat. Um, Different things like that.
Like we had that case a couple months ago in California, where this notary was charged 600 plus $1,000 for malpractice.
Mhm.
So it would be his personal liability. What is it? His professional license insurance that would cover that, or
Right. I mean, you know, depending on the terms of the case, depending on, you know, the terms of the law. So each case is dealt with on its own merit. So um, it depends on the terms, but generally speaking, yes, that's what you're purchasing the coverage for. And if if you're awarded a limit, if the claimant is awarded a limit beyond the coverage limit you have, you pay the difference. So say you carried 500,000, and in that case that you mentioned, the loss was 600,000, you'd be on the hook for the other 100 grand.
mm. All right. So in the short of it, let's all remain compliant. Make sure we're following our notary laws, our powers, what we can and cannot do as a notary in each of our respective state.
Right. Well, basically, the basic premise of insurance is accidents. It's something that's unforeseen. So of course we're all acting with the best prudence that we have, but we all make mistakes. You know, people make mistakes. So, you know, it's like, oh man, I thought I put that check in the package to go with the package, and you discover, oh man, you left it in your briefcase, and you discover it 2 weeks later. Oh man, here's the check in the briefcase, and the what you call it, the loan was supposed to close a week before. Well, obviously somebody's going to be calling you before then, but I'm just saying, you know, you never know, and you never know how that particular situation is going to cause losses for you too.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Lisa, for sharing your time, your knowledge with us. Thank you all for joining us today. We appreciate having you here with us here at Notary Today for our Lunch and Learn. Next week, we will be, as we close out the year, we'll be discussing, 2025 in review and preparing for 2026. Visit us online to see our agenda for upcoming Lunch and Learns. I'll post the agenda. I'll post our Lunch and Learn info sheet here for you guys to review. I'm also going to post the link to our event that's coming up on Wednesday, where Lisa is going to be our presenting speaker. It's for about marketing and branding your business, and I'll post that link here for you. We would love to have you join us. It's in the afternoon at 3 o'clock, and I invite you to join us. Share it with your community, and share it with your community. And then here is the link also for our Lunch and Learn info page, so you can visit it to know what's going on for our Lunch and Learn series. That's the event for Wednesday. And here is our Lunch and Learn series. Uh-oh, what's going on with my... And there's no one here from Connecticut today. Oh, there is Melissa. We are excited to share that our Connecticut Conference for Notaries is coming up in May of next year. Please share with your Connecticut notary community. We would love to have as much notaries there as possible. Yeah. Anyone has any events coming up you'd like to share? Coming up this week? And then, I also forgot, on Sunday we're having our Pennsylvania Notaries holiday mix and mingle. It's coming up on Sunday, December 14th at our office in Ambler, Pennsylvania. Please join us. Anyone has anything to share? Any event?
Yeah, just real quickly, I put my name and phone number in the chat. My name is Gail Gentry, and my phone number is 818-618-6603. So if you guys have any, specific questions you want to discuss, please feel free to reach out.
Awesome. Thank you, Gail.
And
you're welcome.
I am putting in the chat a link to classes for this week and next weekend where I'm helping people build their notary business plan for 2026. And I just lost, why am I? Oh, okay, my computer was acting weird. Talking about building your business plan for 2026, and this comes into play for strategic business building. If you need a business loan or grant, they're going to ask you for a business plan. Sometimes they'll ask for a SWOT analysis, and we'll go over that. And that's an exercise where you show your business the strengths and weaknesses, the opportunities and threats of your business. So it's a 10-point business plan. If you want to create multiple avenues of income within your business, we'll talk about that as well. So I'm going to put that here.
Okay, guys, I'm going to sign off. You guys have a great day.
Gail, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Thank you all for joining us. Tomorrow is our coffee hour where we speak, at a roundtable coffee hour. We share our wins, missed opportunities, and our plans for this week. So I look forward to seeing you there. Lisa posted a link to her event that's coming up on later this month. And that's all I have. Thank you so much. But wait a minute, we have some people that joined us afterwards. We heard from Adonika. Kimberly, can you tell us who you are, where you're joining us from? That's Kimberly, and then Washanda. Kimberly? Melissa, can you go?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is Melissa from Connecticut, owner of Unique Mobile Notary Services. I think that was it.
Yes,
And
it
yes,
was.
I'm excited to be working with Teresa, be doing our very first Connecticut Notary Conference. That's going to be in May. And I'll also add into the calendar because I'm doing a 5-day educational notary session at the library in New Haven, Connecticut, from January up until the conference. Um, and then I think next week, is it next week? I believe it is next week. Next week, I'm doing a legacy notary day, providing free notarization for power of attorneys, wills, and medical directives. And that's something that I actually inherited from Teresa doing it, and it made me want to be able to offer that where I'm at. So I'm doing that as well. But other than that, that is all I have. And again, I'm Melissa from Connecticut, owner of Unique Mobile Notary Services. Thank you, Teresa.
Hey,
Thank you.
Melissa,
Thank
good to
you.
see you. This is Greg. Good to see you, darling.
Hi, Greg. How are you? Good to see you too.
Yeah,
Well,
baby. Yeah,
virtually.
yeah.
Okay, if you're a member of our Notary Today WhatsApp chat, I posted a link in there for the Bucks County Wills for Heroes. They're looking for notary volunteers where you can act as a notary and as a witness also. Let me see if I can pull that link and share it for our Pennsylvania notaries. It's going to be in Bucks County. Let me look for it and post it here for you guys if you're interested. Or you can share it with your community to see if anyone is interested in volunteering, reaching out to volunteer. Let me see where that link is. Just bear with me for a second. And then I'm also gonna share. Google is looking for artists to do art for their landing page on Google. So I'm going to share the link here. If you have any kids in your family, encourage them to join. You encourage them to join. You never know. You can have your kids or your family members' art displayed on Google. I think it's really cool. So I'm going to put that here in the chat for you guys to share with your community. Am I responding? Am I new chat? Oh no, to all. Okay. Um, New chat to all. I posted the link to the Google thing there. Am I responding to somebody privately? I hope I'm not doing that. I don't know how to figure this out. But it's there. It's in the chat. Share it with anyone who who has kids. But in the meantime, let me look for. Okay, here it is.
You responded to Kimberly Rogers.
Oh, okay. So does everybody have access to it?
I see it.
Okay. So it's
Yeah, you can say it.
okay. That's the link for the Google artist. Now I'm going to share the link to the Bucks County where they need support for their Wills for Heroes coming up. You can reach out to them. It's an email contact. So just reach out to the email that's there. Okay. That's all I have for today. Thank you for joining us. See you tomorrow morning coffee hour. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Washanda, I'm sorry. Did you go, Washanda? Let's hear from you.
Hi, sorry, I did join late. My name is Roshonda Jones. I'm the owner of ASAP Notary Team in Wayne County, North Carolina. I'm a mobile notary and signing agent.
Is this the first time you're joining us?
You know what? I think it's the second time I joined for a coffee hour one time.
Okay,
I get
great.
the notifications. I just have been so busy. I'm so sorry.
And that's
But
okay.
I love your group.
Join when you can. Both links are the same. You have the link for Lunch and Learn Now, and then you have the link for the coffee hour. You can join anytime when you're able to.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day, all. Enjoy what's left of today. It's cold where I am here in Connecticut. Bye.
Mm.
All
Yep.
right, take care.
Have a
Bye-bye.
good day.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining, everyone.